everybody, it's Kelly, and I have something very different for you today. So this is my nephew and my wife, who you'll hear me refer to as my niece. She's been part of our family for a long time. And this is my great nephew. Now this was in September of 2018. I went out to visit them to meet my great nephew, and oh my gosh, such a peanut. I've seen him at Christmas since then, and we get pictures and videos. He's a heck of a lot bigger than it was here, or than he was here, I should say. So, she requested that to see if I could bring my big girl camera, which is what I call my DSLR, to see if I could take some family photos of them, because they looked into having professional photos done, but of course they're very expensive and they really didn't want to spend that kind of money. And I said, absolutely. So I did a little photo shoot for them. I am far from a professional photographer, but they were happy, and she used them on her Christmas cards, and so life was good. But I also want to put them in my nephew's albums, or what I'm calling their family albums basically now. And these photos are going to start his second album, because I finished the first one and gave it to them at Christmas. So the other day, and I love scrapbooking photos of him, but it's hard for me to do it when there's no story or it's just a whole big group of family photos. I have 3 grandchildren with the 4th one on the way. I've spent a lot of the last couple of years scrapbooking family photo shoots, and I'm like, what more can I do with this, right? So the other day I thought I need to just jump in and do the first layout, which is what this one is. And I used a bunch of Dear Lizzie papers on this. I started with this background kind of holographic paper, because sometimes when I find special stuff like this, I'll pull it out and leave it near my desk so I use it, or put it on bookshelf in a separate special place so that I use it. And that's what I did with this. So I got this all done. This happens to be an old October afternoon button that I just had sitting around, and I like how it turned out. It pulls in, you know, there's flowers here. He's a boy, but his shirt has that color, and so does Dad's shirt. So I like how that turned out. But I had a bunch of other photos from that shoot that I wanted to do. And so this afternoon I thought, well, I would come down and start scrapbooking them. And I just decided not to video the process. Sometimes I just scrap. And so I just started scrapping. And what I did is, I knew that Chamel's collections had a navy in them throughout. So I pulled out my envelopes. And let me show you what one of those looks like. So this is one of my Cropper Hopper envelopes. I've got embellishments in here, and I have papers and that kind of stuff. I pulled all those envelopes out, and I started scrapbooking a layout. But I only had about 45 minutes, maybe an hour at the most, but not a lot of time to finish a whole bunch of layouts. And I wasn't feeling it to get them embellished. So what I decided to do is something I had seen Chamel do in a class quite a while ago, and that's, I decided to batch scrapbooking. Batch scrapbook. So what I did is I found some papers that I thought would go with like this picture, and as I was going through, I found all these other papers that I thought, well, these will go with those pictures as well. And I started just pulling them, putting them aside, putting pictures on papers, and just putting them down with no idea what I was going to do for embellishment. So this is the first one. This is all Chamel except this Basil cardstock, and lots of different collections. So I think this is the True Stories one, but who knows. So that's the first layout with the all of them. Here's the second layout with all of them. This is not a Chamel paper. This is something else. So there's that one. And then there's this one of Baby H and Mom, which I think is darling. I did ink the edges on all these papers because I wanted some separation, some Bella Boulevard washi tape. Here he is with Dad. So cute. And then here they all are together again. This is a picture of them in front of their current home, but they're going to be moving in the next month. And I wanted to take a picture of this with their address. I told them, even though these aren't like crazy fantastic pictures, because he's being kind of funny the way he's being held there, but he was only 7 weeks old. I mean, look at his skinny little legs here. His legs are not skinny anymore. But anyway, I knew they would be moving in the next year after they had him, and I said, what a cool memory of the first place that you brought him home to. So anyway, all of these layouts, as you can see, have things in common, right? They've got aqua and navy and that peachy color if I just lay them out like this, right? So the next thing I have done is I have pulled my Chamel supplies, and I just realized I forgot to get all my die cuts. But here are all the stickers I own from Chamel. Here's a little chipboard. I've got cut apart journaling pieces that I've already cut apart. I have sheets of cut apart that I've cut apart pieces from, but not completely. I have a couple of the camera prints, so those will all work with these. And then I just have a lot of miscellaneous embellishments. So enamel dots and buttons and clips, which I just got at Tuesday morning, and puffy stickers and other stickers, all this kind of stuff. And then here's one pack of die cut. I'm going to go, before I turn the camera back on, I'll grab the other die cuts. But I am just going to go through and I'm going to do a batch embellishment, one layout at a time, and just get this done. So by the time I am done, I will have done 5 layouts today. And like I said, I haven't taken you through the whole process. If I had known that this is what I was going to kind of do, that this is where it would take me, I would have done this for you. But if nothing else, you're going to see the embellishment process behind all this. So guys, anyway, all of this that I'm going to use here basically right now is Chamel. There's things that I know I want to use for sure on pages, and then after that, I don't know. So I'm going to turn the camera off for just a second, grab my die cuts, and then we'll put you on fast forward. Okay guys, so let's start the embellishing. I'm going to take this sticker sheet from Starshine and attempt to take this word dream off of it. Now, these are actually the see-through stickers, so I have a hard time using them, and I really like them, but it can make it difficult because you have to be careful about what kind of paper is in the background. And I decided I was going to fool around with this, and should I put that on there or not, and decided, yep, let's just put it on there. I can embellish around it. On the right side there, I pulled a piece of chipboard from the Starshine chipboard that says, "You are my sun, my moon, and all my stars," because I think that's completely appropriate. And then I needed to fill up some space on the top, so I took that cut apart Polaroid frame from True Stories, I believe is where that paper was. And I'm going to use that in the top because it has kind of a purpley gray and turquoise color to it, so I thought that would be great. Now I just found these paper clips from Box of Crayons at Tuesday morning a couple weeks ago and haven't used any, so I wanted to do that. And since we were talking about the moon and the stars, I thought that would be appropriate. That is an arrow, I believe, from Go Now Go. Just a navy arrow, so that'll be perfect in there. I am going to ink these edges. I inked most of the edges of these layouts with my Memento Dewdrop ink, just to pull them together, especially because like the background paper is Chamel, but that piece that the photos are on is not, and I don't remember what that is. It's something I pulled from my stash. So now I'm going to use the enamel shapes from Box of Crayons, and I pulled some turquoise stars there. So that's layout number 1 done. And I think I figured out that I did all of this, including the background papers, in about 2 hours, if I remember correctly. I wrote that at the beginning, so that's pretty awesome. 5 layouts in 2 hours. That's really fast, actually. And it's because you have everything out already. So again, I pulled another frame from True Stories. I pulled that Delighted sticker that I believe came from the True Stories sticker book. And then that heart came from there, as did the I Love You sticker that I'm grabbing there. And that little mirrored heart. The heart on top as well is from that book. And I'm just adding little bits and pieces all over, trying to decide what to do here. I want some more color up on the top right and on the bottom left, or bottom top left there. I do like this word happy, but I think it's too busy. There's so many circles on that background paper, I think it sort of blends in with them. So what I'm doing here is I'm just going through the books or the die cut packs. What can I find that's going to work? So then I look at this tag with the navy and yellow and realize, oh, that would be great up there at the top. And I found that yellow Polaroid and decided that that would work to bring some of the yellow color up to the top left. So now there's yellow in all three of those places. There's that peachy pink. I think the only thing that's not in there is the orangey color. I could have done that, I guess, with another heart. But good is good. Alright, so just getting all of that down. And that sticker actually had torn, so I was being a little bit careful about my edges. And I'll just add that turquoise heart to that one as well. A little turquoise heart. That's box of crayons again. And it's pretty fast when you have all your materials out and you just pick a pack. That's it. You just pick a pack and you keep going through it until you can't find anything to use, and then you just go on to the next one. And I think having different size embellishments really helps this process as well. So that's why it was nice, and different kinds. So it's why it was nice to have the die cuts and the puffy stickers and enamel shapes and all that. All right, so I grabbed some Hobby Lobby twine there, and that is layout number 2. So for layout number 3, this is my nephew and his son here. And I just decided that I wanted some sort of title card or something above there because there's a lot of space above that. And there it is. So because this is what awesome is made of, and that is what awesome is made of. And I love it when he's kind of tickling his cheeks there to get him to smile. Oh, it's so cute. He ran, and that little furrowed brow he has in that left picture is something he did a lot. All right, so I am cutting this. I cut that dream arrow from the Starshine sticker or cut apart sheet. And that dream, this is what awesome is made of, I think also is from Starshine as well. If not that True Stories. The You and Me is another one of those from the Starshine sheet. And now I'm looking and thinking I want some blue. So okay, let's make this work. There's an umbrella on that. That's not going to work. Oh, but that You and Me can go over the top. See, I think I'm thinking out of the box a little bit more here just because I'm grabbing. And I think the more you do this, the first layout is the hardest, I think. Although this one was kind of hard for me because I didn't get as much dimension on it in the end as I wanted, but I think it's okay. All right. So just getting that down there. In the end, guys, by the way, I had originally pulled a magnificent word sticker I was going to use on this, and I don't know, right there, it disappeared, and then I found it when I was taking photos this morning. So I put it on the bottom between the two photos. You'll see that, and then I'll go pick up a heart when I take these back down to my scrap room, just to add to those. All right, so just about done trying to decide what to do. I want some more color up here. It's a little bit too orangey for me. And I found this 3x4 cut apart card that came from Chamel's original collection. And I like how that looks. Again, inking everything in the Memento Dewdrop. And oops, ATG came off. That happens. I have that green card on a little bit crooked. I'll have to fix that too. I think that's part of what happens when you're just scrapping fast. This is kind of, people always wonder how I get so many layouts done because I'll do 50, 60 layouts at a what's essentially a 3-day crop weekend. Well, it's because I do stuff like this. I pull out a collection or a couple of collections that work together, and I just keep making layouts. I find photos that work, and I just keep making layouts until I've exhausted the collection, which doesn't happen all that often, honestly, because I own a lot of paper. But more importantly, a lot of times I get sick of it. So, you know, like I've scrapped like 4 or 5 layouts with it, and I'm like, okay, I'm done now. That means I've worked with it for a couple of hours. Okay, so now I am going to these hearts from the Go Now Go collection, and I added a couple of those on. That layout's done. So here is my niece, my nephew's wife. I think I said my wife in the very beginning. It's my nephew's wife, not my wife. So I love this Make-A-Wish piece there, that chipboard piece from Starshine. And then there's that Always Believe Something Wonderful is About to Happen. I don't know where that came from. I don't remember. It was already cut apart, I believe. I thought it was already cut apart. Anyway, I don't remember. I didn't like the lighter borders on it though, so I cut those off. I'm trying to get, this just feels really stacked, or I don't know. It just doesn't feel right to me. I like the idea of flowers on here because it is a page with mommy. Might be a boy page, but it's a page with mommy. But the flowers were wrong. They were from True Stories. I don't know where, I don't remember which collection that floral is from. But it wasn't the right color floral. Again, just going through books, trying what's going to work. What do I have here that's going to work? So I find that pink arrow, and that is True Stories there. And I find the little heart, and I find this like corally orangey banner that goes with like the peachy color in the flowers here. And then there's a 2, that silver 2, and then a little sticker that says hello. So I think those will all work together really well. But I want something else, like color. So I'm looking at the camera paper here, and this is just one of the cut apart papers. I don't remember what collection that came from. Maybe True Stories though, because it looks like it is a single-sided paper. So that came from a pad. Could be Starshine as well too, I don't know. Anyway, so I like the way that looks. It brings the green into that because that was very pinky orangey based there. And then it also brings in some navy because there's a lot of navy in the bottom and there was no navy in those clusters. Which sometimes it's a nice way to use like those frames, is you can just use the edges of the frames to bring in the color. Although I don't think I had any more of the navy frames here. But I'm looking at that now going, oh, that would have been a good thing to do too. You just kind of hide them so you can't see what's actually on it. Okay, so I added some foam tape behind that camera to give it some dimension. And then I'm thinking about what are my final touches are going to be, and I go back to the puffy hearts. I found that one that said beauty and I loved it, so I put it on the top left there. There's another one that says joy and then just a regular turquoise heart. So that is done. Layout number 4 is done. Here's layout number 5. So this is that photo of them in front of their where they live. So I remembered that I had this sticker from True Stories of all these houses, and they live on the East Coast. So I thought that would be perfect because it's all, you know, there's so many row houses, and the place where they live, there's a lot of row house or row house looking places. So that worked well for me. I went back and forth because if I had done this layout differently, I probably would have put it on the bottom, but it was already glued down. So, you know, life is life, right? So then I had a 3 from, I think that's the original Schmel collection, and then one of those cut apart cameras. But I'm not liking the green in that cut apart camera. So I'm playing around here with that navy and red one. I'm going to ink that one up. Thinking about both of those cameras, but that's not working. And I'm just not loving it. So I go back and I cut another one that's turquoise and yellow instead. It felt, I don't know, heavy or something. Did not love it. So I'll ink that one up, and I like that much better. Now I'm inking it in gray flannel, and you guys know I use that gray flannel ink all the time. So I did think I want something behind this cluster. It doesn't feel big enough because there's so much weight on the top left. And then I found the sheet. This originally was supposed to be a punch-out sheet, and the manufacturer didn't make it that way, so now it's all cut aparts. And which I should just cut these apart someday when I'm bored, like when I'm watching TV, because then I probably would use it up. And I just found, I thought if I use a couple of these houses on the side, that carries it from the top to the bottom. And then it also takes, it's also a tall embellishment, which is what I want down there. And I think that makes a huge difference. I had somehow notched out the roof, so I ended up cutting off the little smokestack on that roof because it just wasn't working well. Part of it was just I was using my big scissors when I was doing this a lot, and I know better. I should use my cutter bee scissors there. All right, so there we go. Now we've got the camera down. And I'm just going to add some foam tape behind that 3 for the 3 of them. And you guys, I am just about done. So I'm going to give you a still shot and detail shots of each of the layouts at the end so that you can see that. So if there's any specific questions that you have, go ahead and leave them in the comments and I'll get those answered for you. It's a lot, and I didn't specifically write things down as I was working. So I went back to the Go Now Go hearts here, and I will add 3 of them, just for a little bit of a different dimension here. All right, guys, so that is it. Hope you guys are well, and I'll be back with another layout or layouts again soon. Bye.